mod. A modification made to something usually by its owner or user in order to change its appearance or function. Modder. A person who makes modifications to something, especially computer hardware, computer software, or motor vehicles.
Like me. By definition, modding has been around in gaming since its inception. I mean, it's basically taking someone else's homework and altering it to avoid plagiarism. Puyo Puyo? Nah. That's Eggman's Mean Bean Machine. Totally different. Apparently, the first mod in recorded video game history is Castle Smurfenstein, an art mod that changes the Nazis into, well, Smurfs. It's kind of smurfed up if you ask me. So I have been a console gamer for 27 years of my life, starting with the original PlayStation. And much like the Sony ponies, the Xbots, and the Nintendolts, I would blindly defend my stance for the consoles that I owned with tribalistic curiosity. But even during this time, there lived a longing inside me for the games that I owned. YouTube played a big part in this when I came across videos of people fighting 2 or 3 Sephiroths in Kingdom Hearts 2 at the Disney Castle throne room. Because one of these bastards wasn't hard enough. So, cut to me buying a Game Shark for the PS2, having things not work, and then deleting everything in my memory cards because I didn't understand what the word format meant. Childhood trauma aside, the thought of changing the games that I had played over and over and experienced over the years still stuck with me. Nowadays, we live in an amazing era.
Let me do mine one time, man.
No! I have been getting dicked by you this entire match.
Eat shit, I deserve it.
At the end of the day, games are just lines of code. And like some elite hacker, some people can go into the code and change whatever is in there into what they want. So tip your modders because they are also kind enough to share it with you. You degenerate. While games like Fallout and Skyrim offer in-game mods for PC and console gamers, it is run by Bethesda and they get a pay cut from the purchase of these mods. So these feel more like purchasable download content for things that Bethesda devs are too lazy or incompetent to do themselves. Obsidian released Fallout New Vegas on October 19th, 2010, and it was a bug-ridden mess. While they did release patches to make the game more stable, they had to stop patching it to move on to other projects in July 2011. I recently tried playing it on PC for a smoother gameplay experience than you can get on the PS3, and ran into some issues. I have an AMD Radeon 5700 graphics card, and unless I downgraded my graphics drivers every time I wanted to play New Vegas, I ended up in the cancer ward. I had to download community patch mods and a mod that tricked the game into thinking that I was running an NVIDIA graphics card, just so I can play a 14-year-old game. And don't even get me started on BioWare games. I'm still struggling to get KOTOR to run at 1080p, but more on that later. Most common mods that you usually run into are just upgraded textures, skin swaps, and quality of life mods. So you can shape your experience of the game however you want without making broad, sweep updates that other people may not like. With remasters, some people just don't like the aesthetic of the HD textures in their games, as it feels like a change in art style and feel of the world. Just look at Halo Combat Evolved Remastered. At least they were smart enough to make the swap between HD and original just be a simple button press. Because at the end of the day, player choice is what makes modding so great. Because this channel is very Final Fantasy VII centric, let's focus on 2 games to show off the world of modding. Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Steam platform. Let's focus on OG FF7. A lot of people were not happy that the remake was technically not a remake of the original game. They wanted the same turn-based open world experience from Midgar to Meteorfall with updated graphics and better sound. And while that is never going to happen, I do feel like modding is the closest that you can get. The footage you are seeing are from the mods I had installed, which upscales the in-game textures, adds voice acting to the characters, and changes their models to the Nino style versions. Nino style makes the cast and NPCs look like the character art seen in the original strategy guide of Final Fantasy VII. Follow that up with FF7 Remake's UI and sound effects, and you just added a fresh coat of paint onto this 30-year-old antique house. Some of the best mods are the ones that change the gameplay difficulty and bits of the story. The True Necrosis mod starts you off with 9,999 health and MP, but you have no way to recover it, so start being stingy. Another turns everyone into Barretts. But my favorite one is known as New Threat 2.0. If you want to see the 1.0 version, Maximilian Dude has a whole playthrough of it.
She's helping. This is awesome. All right, this shit is cool.
But 2.0 allows you to play the original story with enemy tweaks and rebalancing, or a different version of the story, including some hilarious dialogue changes.
Next time, we'll be up against Soldier. We might not survive without you. But you came back inside. Does that mean...
I came back to fight Barrett.
Cloud! Stop joking around! I know he can be a bit... but he's a good person, deep down. But enough of that. Are you here to...
I really don't like Barrett.
Come on, get serious. So, does this mean you're going to...
He's so loud.
Alright, I'll go talk to him.
But mostly different enemy layouts and boss fights. Like instead of fighting the Airbuster, you have to fight 6 soldier operatives at the end of the Mako Reactor 5 bombing section. It also includes a hard mode version where you get no gil from killing common enemies. I had to steal a lot of shit. New Threat even gives each character an innate ability, so team building and materia combinations become a lot more important. For example, Cloud's innate is his counter. When you make him use the defend option, if he gets hit, Cloud will counterattack with either 2-cut, 4-cut, or death blow. Couple that with the cover and counter materia, and it's possible for Cloud to attack up to 5 times from just one single hit. And that's just scratching the surface. If you want to re-experience OG FF7, buy it on Steam, look up a tutorial, download the 7th Heaven mod manager, and play the New Threat mod. Best version of Final Fantasy VII in my opinion. Moving on to Remake, there are also difficulty mods and tweaks that will force you to plan out your strategies and equipment. But the quality of life mods cannot go understated. Do you feel the camera is a little too close for you to be able to see everything? There's a mod for that. Sick and tired of having all this materia, but can't equip most of it because materia slots were saved for Rebirth instead? There is a mod for that. The biggest reason I bought this game again is because one of my biggest gripes is the lack of costume and weapon choices in the console version. They established that Advent Children is part of this remake trilogy, so why can't I play as Advent Children Cloud? When the Final Fantasy VII compilation started rolling out, they changed the Buster Sword hilt to a golden design to make it seem like it was created by an artisan blacksmith out of a father's love for his son, instead of it just being a hunk of iron. I like the remake design, make no mistake, but I got used to the compilation version. There's a mod for that. But as great as these mods are, I think I know what you really want to mod. Master Chief Barrett, baby, let's go! John Halo is in Final Fantasy VII Remake, proving that you can show emotions with your helmet on. Halo TV show, you waste of time and money. Now, all of these mods and more can be found for free on the internet. Depending on the game, you can find mods from various sources like videogamemods.com, GameBanana, ModDB, but NexusMods are the most reliable and common. Link in the description. If you have a game on Steam, Epic Games Store, and sometimes GOG, you can download mods from one or more of these outlets for the low price of $3.99. Nexus does have a subscription that allows you to download mods faster than 3 megabytes, but it's not required. The catalog of games is extensive, and the number of mods for each game are overwhelming at times. Luckily, searching for mods that you may want can be pretty easy to filter through. A few clicks and typing keywords in the search bar can usually help you find what you need. But be warned, certain filters are important for keeping things safe at work. So yeah, search at your own risk.
When actually putting in mods, much like Seventh Heaven, there are a decent amount of mod managers from a bunch of games or a specific game. Nexus Mod Manager has Vortex Mod Manager, which works well for all games that are supported with NexusMods, but results can vary. Unverum and Fluffy Mod Manager focus on more specific games, but can have the same issues. And some games require mod managers to work correctly, like the Mass Effect Mod Manager. What these mods do is that they take the mods that you had downloaded and then just change the pack files for you as opposed to having to do it manually. So anybody who may not be the most tech savvy can easily put the mods that they want into the games that they have.
So from what I've just described, modding must be a dream.
Yes, but actually no.
Buddy.
Son of a bitch! Why isn't this working?
Nothing's working!
Okay, here's the part of the video where I rant about how modding can be a royal pain in the ass. Computers are complicated. There's a reason why most businesses have an IT department. Downloaded the wrong thing, didn't update a driver, deleted the wrong file, no computer for you.
Because games, programs, software, etc. are lines of code that have to be executed in a certain way at a certain time, changing the code of anything can lead to some issues if not done correctly. And if you're not that tech savvy, finding the problem and the solution can be hours of checking forums, re-downloading the game and or the mods, retesting it not working, getting pissed, eating a sandwich, coming back, trying something new, repeat until it works, or you say, fuck it, I'm gonna go touch grass.
Gotta install this mod before this mod, but not before this mod. The most consistent way to get mods working is doing it manually, but it requires you to go through files upon files just to find the right destination. Sometimes the description of the mod will show you a step-by-step process to get the mod installed, but it can be intimidating if you're like me and aren't as well versed in PC and PC software. I'm still getting used to the hotkeys and shortcut keys.
What does Alt F4 do?
I forgot to save.
Going back to FF7 Remake, the initial PC port of this game was kind of dog shit. Stuttering issues, bad hardware utilization, just terrible optimizing all around. There is a video about Unreal Engine utilization that explains why some games look and run like butt. But if you see it, you can't unsee it. So watch with care. Link in the description. To counter this, a mod was made and released called FF7 Hook, which changes how the INI file works with the game. In order to make this game run properly, to where my stutters happen just because my hardware is a little dated, I had to go to YouTube and use different modders' mod fixes just to grab the text to put in the INI files. What you're seeing right now is how extensive that is to make it look and run as good as it does. After all that, the game looks and runs so well, but it took me a grand total of almost 3 to 4 hours spread out across a week just downloading the mods and optimizing the game to run it all. Everything was going smoothly. Until the 2024 Game Awards. They announced that FF7 Rebirth will be releasing on PC in January. And I'm so sad because my computer's just not going to be able to run that. In order to get people to play it on PC, they made an update to make Remake as new user-friendly as possible. Adding a head start mode where players can start a new game already at level 45 with some maxed out materia, armor and accessories more available at the middle to end points of the game, and a fast forward feature during cutscenes was added, making unskippable ones that you've seen 10 times already more bearable and faster to get through. Not a bad update. Except for the fact that it made some mods unusable. Which brings me to my next gripe, game developers ruining my experience. Modders do not get paid for the hours of work that they put in. You can tip them, please do, but that means there isn't much of an incentive to update some of the mods that have been created. Usually they don't need to, because unless a game is a live service, the chances of the game being updated gets smaller as the years go by. The developers will stop at some point. Mods change a game's code based off of the original code. If the original source is changed, the mods can't replace it, leading to glitches and crashes. One big recent example of this is Fallout 4. There was a mod that was being created called Fallout London. This mod overhauled the entirety of Fallout 4, changing the location from Boston to London, completely new story, enemies, characters, quests. This mod was basically a new Fallout game created by talented artists and coders for free. If I had Fallout 4 for PC, I wouldn't touch this mod unless I tipped the developers the whole retail price of what a normal game would be. But then, Bethesda got a stupid idea. Around the time the mod was finishing development and preparing for release, the Fallout TV show was released to critical acclaim. Bethesda was expecting people to want to play Fallout 4 again or for the first time, similar to people who were playing Witcher 3 after the Witcher TV show's initial debut. So they updated Fallout 4 for next gen, fucking with the original code 2 days after release of Fallout London. Because of this, the mod had to be delayed and could only be downloaded on GOG due to its size and compatibility with a certain version of the game. Also, the updates caused even more bugs for the console and PC versions. Fuck you, Bethesda! As I was writing this script, Marvel Rivals had some mods of their own. Some optimized the game for better frames, which did give you more damage over time, by the way. Changed the base skins of characters, some change audio files, and some are Gunnar exclusive. But with the Season 1 release, the devs actually disabled all mods and strongly discourage you from downloading any more, otherwise it could get you banned. But Gear 5 Luffy! Skins are how Marvel Rivals makes money, and if you're modding skins, then it could affect their bottom line. Why would I buy Symbiote Spider-Man when I can just mod the base costume for free? So while I would love to play as Vegeta and Final Flash that damn shark for hot tooling my entire team, it's just not worth pissing off the devs, or worse, the mouse. Now, not all game developers unintentionally screw over their fans or just hate their community. Which brings us to our Lord and Savior, Larian Studios. Sven, I love you. You and your team do great work. Please no controversies. If you ever pull a CDPR, I will never trust or love again. Larian Studios has been very communicative with fans over the years. They understand they can't cater to everyone on their own, but their community is very supportive of Larian and their games. So Larian are more than happy to work with the community and modders, as opposed to Bethesda's mindset of our fans will fix it later. Baldur's Gate 3 was Larian's most successful game as of today, but while the game was stacked with hundreds of hours of dialogue, fun, engaging game mechanics, and replay value, we as the community went,
I want more.
D&D has books upon books of races, sub-races, classes, subclasses, feats, spells, cantrips, armor, items, and lore. There's only so much a game team can develop and push out. And Sven Vinka, the founder of Larian and director of BG3, doesn't want to focus on just the Baldur's Gate IP. He wants his team to focus on other games that they are passionate about. But if people want to keep playing Baldur's Gate 3 and put what they want to play as or with in the game, Sven ain't gonna stop ya! Instead, Larian released a modding tool and a mod manager for the game on both PC and console, so that anyone and everyone can enjoy the game however they want. By doing this, this game will continue to be played for years. On Steam alone, the game still gets up to 60 to 80k players a day, until patch 8 comes out and the player number increases and the modders have to update the mods again. But at least we're getting cross-play multiplayer. All this to say, modding your games is perhaps the best way of enjoying your games. I always encourage people to play games without mods on first playthroughs, but quality of life stuff is honestly not a bad thing to do. I just started playing Dragon Age Origins for the first time to see why fans hated Veilguard so much. Don't tell me in the comments, I get it. I tried to play just the base game, blemishes and all, but I saw the UI and was like, nah, we're not dealing with this for 60 plus hours. Also downloaded some patches for glitches, and the ability to have my dog at all times. I can't help it, he's such a good boy. But the best thing about it was my choice. If I want to play as Morrigan from Darkstalkers in Final Fantasy VII Remake, for reasons, patrol the Mojave Wasteland with every single follower there is in the game, or fight my best friend as Donkey Kong in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Oh, word.
DK Donkey Kong.
Can't rule it. I'm coming in.
That's my choice. There are some experiences that the game devs can't or won't give me. Sometimes it just takes one person to say, fine, I'll do it myself. If you are one of those people, thank you for the work that you do. This is Gray Supernova, signing off saying, mod your games. And also, I'm a little concerned that nude mods were a majority of the downloads on these sites. Are you guys alright? Was the hub not enough for you?